Well, hi everybody. I hope this is working. I hate that. Never mind. This Facebook Live stuff is just kind of crazy now. Anyways, welcome to this week's little snippet on which attitude I'm going to talk about. Yeah. So been looking at this week, and a lot of what's helpful for me always to share with you, and know that all these come from like interactions I have with people. I have a theory always about like, okay, so here's how this attitude works. And then I look for it and be like, is this theory right or wrong? It's a little scientific. It's not exact, but it's a lot of fun to kind of just like see, okay, so where is this at? Does this fit in one, or have I missed something? Um, so it's just kind of fun how I gather my data. Just a little inside to Joe's brain. Um, because like sharing what I share in these videos is based off real world um, examples. Like this isn't stuff I'm just sitting here making up. It's things people are actually living through, questions people ask me, experiences I have when I'm coaching, and just speaking with people, reading the news, seeing how people react to different things, and then watching and being patient to see like how does it play out. Sometimes it's like a little game. It's like, oh, like they said this, and are they going to do this, and maybe this will happen, and um, it's very fascinating sometimes, right? So it's kind of like tip number one for you today, an extra bonus tip before I hop into what I want to talk about. Just look at your own lives, right? And sometimes we need that mirror to reflect back to us, and that's why coaches are so good. But just look overall at your own life and be like, huh, like, can I game myself into like kind of understanding myself more? And the answer is yes. You have to be more conscious of what you're doing. You have to call yourself out more. It's a little bit harder. Um, but at the end of the day, it definitely will help um, you get to that next level, right? Which is for this crew is really creating that impact you want, right? Having the real impact in the world that you want for whatever that big goal you have is, right? So at least it's in today, right? Superpowers. Because here's the deal, like us as humans and us as ourselves, most of the time think, hey, we're just ourselves. Like for me, I'm just Joe. Like I do a bunch of stuff. People are like, oh, how'd you do that? That's so cool. And I'm like, in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know. That's just what I do. I just do it. I spent a long time in my career in the technology sector. I have like some affinity for technology as well. That people have problems all the time with their technology. Like her laptop will be not working, or she's trying to Zoom or do something and it's not working. And I walk in and like just like literally sometimes because I touch it, like all of a sudden it starts working. She's like, she gets all grumpy. But that's like a superpower. Like it's just something I do. I understand how technology works. So some of us understanding with our superpowers, but the problem is we just think we're mundane, right? So, like, I just want you to throw that out for right now. You are not mundane. You have skills and abilities and superpowers, we can call them, about like what you're really good at. And a lot of you are making really good money at doing that, and that's okay. The problem is we just think anybody can do it, but that's not the case. Not anybody can do it, because if everybody could do it, then everybody would be doing it. So I need you to own for just a moment, right? Just a moment today as you're watching this, that you have a superpower, something you're really good at, something that you have an affinity for. And again, a lot of us are already making money at doing that. But we don't like call it out, or we don't think we're special. There's a difference between, I just want to call this out for a moment as you're thinking about this. There is a difference between being special and understanding that and leaning into that, and being entitled or feeling entitled, right? There's a difference. Sometimes we get those mixed up as humans, so don't get those mixed up. But being special and having a superpower is not a bad thing. Something you should double down on. You can make a lot of money at whatever that superpower is. The problem is people will tell us all the time, like, oh, like, there's just all these stories from growing up and people talking to you about like wanting us as humans are very fascinating. Let me go there, right? It's kind of a feels like a disjointed thought, but I'll bring it all back together. So us as humans are interesting because we there's so much judgment that goes on out there. Right? We have a hard time celebrating other people's things because if we celebrate them, then we have a hard time believing that, hey, we can have accomplishments too. There's like this currency of like accomplishment in the world, right? Not just in ourselves, and um, we all think that, if one person has an accomplishment, then somebody else can't have it, and why not? And we have this weird mindset as human beings. But that's not the case. Like, find your superpower, double down on it, right? And in business, here's the deal, right? In business, here's what I want you to start to focus on. Do what you're good at in your business. And then the next step, right? Use that superpower, because you're not going to be good at all things in your business. This is where the attitude of command kicks in, right? Because you have, like, if you look at an army, right? There's a commanding officer. They might know more than the other people. There's got to be someone running the ship. And that's your job in your business. It's your job in finding the resources you need. It's your job in making money and having connections and time management, right? All these aspects of your life. So use your superpower, double down on that, figure out, like, what am I really good at in my business? And then here's what I want you to do next. Because this is where the attitude of command really shines. You need to find out who can help you fill in the gaps of things that you're not good at. Now, if you have a little bit of cash flow problem, you can't just hire people. Find out that one person, find out that one task that you can be like, hey, I really am not good at doing X, Y, Z. I need to find somebody. Okay? Attitude command is about leadership. First, leadership of yourself. It's important, right? Double down. Develop your superpower. Develop your skills. Develop that piece of you that's going to cause and change cause impact and change the world. Double down on that, because that's what it's an extension of you, and that's what people really resonate with. Okay? Be bold enough to command yourself, right? And literally step up and just be that advocate for yourself, because a lot of us aren't. Find the people out there who can help you. Right? That'd be step number 2. Like, find those people who can fill in the gaps of things you're not good at, again. And then step up to the plate and be the leader that you know you can be. But here's what I want to throw in here. Like, as we start talking about leadership, I hear from a lot of my clients who have teams, right? And have people, contractors and things that work for them. And they're like working and it works and they're successful. But a lot of times when we start talking about the leadership conversation, because again, we've been improperly taught, or we have really bad examples when it comes to leadership. Like, there's that can be a whole live stream that's way longer than this one. But what happens is we equate leadership to like these people that we don't like. So we're like, well, if I want to lead, then I can't be like that person. Or if I have to lead, then that's my only example, so I'm going to follow by example. So I want you to find people who are leaders that you like, and then emulate them. And here's the key point to here: do it without shame. Right? You're going to hand tasks off to people. You're going to whatever it is you do in your business. Like for me, coaching, there's got to be a lot of leadership in there because I'm the expert. That's why they're coming to me. Right? That's why you're all showing up watching these videos, because you trust me that I can talk to you and help you make more money. Now, if I was like, well, I'm a little timid, I can't ask you about like how much you're making. How can I ever help you make more if I don't even know where we're starting? There's a lot of conversation around money and shame, right? There's a lot of conversation around what we do and how we're leaders and how you feel like you're commanding or you're leading the people that are working for you, or those people in your groups or follow you already. And we do it with so much shame because we're like, oh, I want to be mean. Well, who said you have to be a mean leader? Right? There's so much shame that's there that people often stop leading, or they like form groups. And I've seen this plenty of times. They form groups of people, and then they don't feel like they can be like, hey, this is where we're going. Right? At the end of the day, when we look at different healthy structures of leadership, like if you look at military units and things like that, there are some really good examples of what's going on out there. And if we take those things we take the best parts of them, right? Because we can still see these examples and we can take the best parts we want. And if we emulate those, then we'll be the leaders we want to be as we continue on toward making the impact we want to make. So it really starts with us, right? And part of this command piece, the attitude of command, is all about just like really speaking what we want with not the expectation it's going to happen, but the certainty that it will happen, right? Because there's a difference between expectation. We're going to set up a whole different thing. Expectation is a whole different conversation. But command is about showing up and the certainty that what we ask for will happen. Okay? And this goes for clients we're looking for revenue we're trying to accomplish, for team members we're trying to find. We have to be intentional about what we're looking for. And when we're intentional about that, then we can command the universe to conspire with us to make it happen. Okay? So literally, recap overall. Start with your superpower. Double down on that. Figure out what you're really good at. Find the people who can help you fill in those gaps, and then lead them. And as you do that, as you continue to lead, and as you set your goals and your aspirations and your impact out there, and speak to it in certainty that it will happen, then you'll gain better understanding of how you can become a leader and a commander in the way you want to do it, in your style. So think about these things. This is a little different as where we went, but I think if you can hear like in your own voice about what you want, and how you want to lead and how you want to show up in the world, it's going to make a lot of sense as you practice, right? This one's going to take a lot of practice. People are scared about this command thing, like, oh, am I being too mean as I'm leading? Or what happens if I ask for something and they don't show up? Well, there's lots of parts of leadership, right? There's whole courses and people make a whole living off just teaching leadership. But start with yourself, and then just start with the little pieces and just try it out. Have fun with this one. So, as always, drop your questions below. This one has a direct correlation to money and income, right? Because it's about the tasks we're taking in and what we're doing. However, it might not always be apparent how it's seen. So if you have questions overall, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next week, we'll chat with you again. Bye.